Hello there, and welcome to my fortress tour of ROCKHOLD, the Gift of Shadow. This is the fortress that I played in my Season 2 Let's Play series for this wonderful little world, the quest of reconstructing an entire dwarven civilization which has been nearly wiped by goblins. This is the second fort, a diplomatic fort, located between the human empire and our own fledgling little thing, and it had no metal. So that was a really nice little challenge, and I want to start with the subterranean part, which is the less impressive one in my personal opinion, and then we're going to go over this little castle. So we are going to start the tour just like somebody who would be arriving. As you see here, we have roads leading to ROCKHOLD in the southern areas and in the northern areas. The roads lead to the courtyard. I will introduce the elements of the courtyard later. What's most important is that beyond these hostile traps here lies the entrance to the actual subterranean fortress. If you go downstairs here, you reach our first and primary defense system. In peace times, you are allowed to flow into this area here, into the city, either into the old city or the new city, and our enemies will find these bridges shut, and also they will be shut off the access to our underground pasture. They will be then funneled through lots of glass blades, and if they survive that, they will be greeted by our water defense system. That door should be locked, by the way. So the water defense system leads you into this fancy little room where all the doors will be shut behind you, and then this wonderful little hatch will be open for you and flood you. Nice little system, drainable here, and we have then the continued path for those who were either not drowned or whatever might be the reason, funneled back upstairs here into the actual next layer of traps. Here we have two paths, the old city and the new city. I'm going to introduce the old city first because that's the order of things. We go downstairs here and meet the barracks of the Cobalt Acts, our local line of defense. We might not have any local metal, but we've imported it from the mountain home and from the goblins, and this is what we've ended up with. They're armed to the teeth, and there's even a human, Gorax, among them, who is, well, let's just say, he's powering up the alliance between dwarves and humans. Behind the barracks, we find the machinery room, which is linked to all the vital defense parts of the fort, well guarded by our armed forces. When you go downstairs here, you find our sand collection spot. Forget about that, this will be introduced later. And if we go downstairs deeper, we breach our first aquifer's layer, and deeper down below, we enter the old city. This is the Expeditionary Quarter. This is the site that we have dug out when we first hit town. Our farming district with all the fields, the Farmers Guild Hall, nicely decorated and all, and more fields. Over here we have the temple of, I think, yeah, Erdem, the major deity here. 183 worshippers, yet never ever did they ask for a grand temple. Well, here's the area where we have located our first settlers. You see irregular shaped bedrooms that were just carved out on a whim. Here's the mayor's quarters. Melville, the tavern keeper from season 1, has settled down here to be the mayor of this place. He has been a very, very pleasant person, no needs whatsoever. The first the first meeting place. These days, nobody here really hangs out. There's just a few monuments of the foundation days. And here we have the tavern, the bronze breakfasts, really large place, and the local dining hall. Here we find our quarries, one of many. If you go downstairs here, you will find the rest of the siltstone quarry and the stonecutters quarter, alongside with the woodcrafters quarter and the guild hall of the crafts dwarves. Oopsie, that was and the guild hall of the stoneworkers. And downstairs here we find the tailors district, also with the jewelers. Here we had one big problem. This place here was all really not too nice to us in terms of aquiferous layers. That's why we weren't building the city further here, but instead we went on over to the new city. I already showed you there. The entrance is here. So the new city was the solution to our problems. There is a big sand and clay layer, and we dug it all out and we hauled the stone here, because otherwise this would be not fit for a dwarf. The new city was a really massive endeavor. Don't underestimate the sheer number of blocks necessary to build all this. But we have here all the sleeping rooms that our people require, a couple of temples, and here a nice little backyard. We also see temples, dining halls, taverns, all the things that you need. One level lower, we have the hospital and the doctors and bone doctors guild halls. These days only the bone doctors are really seeing much action. The big dining hall and more bedrooms. In the center of the new city lies the library of ROCKHOLD, a wonderful place furnished out with lots of wood, because we ended up having a lot of wood here and I was absolutely using it. Right next to that, the well, which is located logistically really nicely close to the hospital. We dug that out into one of the many aquiferous layers here, which was just nice. Over here we have the pump shaft for a water trap, which is also acting out as a water reservoir in times of need. So, the subterranean part of the city goes down a little bit deeper as we go downstairs here, where we will go deeper and deeper because we were not done there. So we find here the caverns, which are, again, amazingly close to the surface. Here's the sealed off tunnel where we discovered the caverns themselves, and lots of forgotten beasts roam these places. Since we don't have any heavy weapons, we decided to shut off the access to the caverns once and for all. Here's the Miners Guild Hall, right next to the caverns. And here we find various quarries again. Here's the church, which has been used for the castle walls. As you see here, these places have been licked clean. Not a single boulder is left to be seen, so that shows you how much stone we've been using here. The further descent downstairs was happening over here. We drilled another hole there and found the second layer of the caverns. Alongside here, claystone quarries for the roads, schist quarries for the city, and deeper we go. Here goes Caverns Layer 3. You might have already noticed how close they are to each other. And here's our slate quarry for the city itself. You see a lot of quarrying action was happening here, and here we finally see the magma workshop of this place. We might not have much metal, but this place was cranking out all the glass weaponry that you see. We brought up this nice magma reservoir here, obsidianized this little slot here, and there we go. We also have a magma fortress and a metalsmith's guild hall because, after all, we were able to pilfer quite a substantial amount of metal over the time. And we are steadily importing from the other places, because why not? So, that's the subterranean part. Down there below, we never dug for anything deeper than that, because, well, alright, we dug here for a little bit of gabbro for our furniture, but that's that, because the mayor happens to love gabbro. Now, the castle. So, you enter the castle here, the trade depot is to be found here, the local tavern is to be found here. The tavern itself offers lots of beds and even a dormitory for those who need a rest. It is meant to be open for everybody, and the alliance between humans and dwarves so far has worked out brilliantly. Not a single theft, not a single bad incident, nothing. We have here the guard towers and the walls. The walls are several stories high, and, well, we're going to go over these in a hot second. Here's the ecumenical temple, where everybody can find a place to pray at, and here are, like I said, the guard towers. We have here the stables. Well, you can't really build stables in Dwarf Fortress, but I felt like emulating them, and Over here, we have now the guard system. As you see, the 4 towers are all linked to each other. We even have a gatehouse here and there. And the internal walls, well, I didn't build any fortifications here. We could, if we'd wanted to. The towers go upstairs all the way here until we hit the upper parapet. So the towers go upstairs one more level, obviously, as they should. And then we have the entire wall here connected. There is, above the gatehouse, one more connection there, but that's the last one. In the center of the castle stands the Founder's Tower. It is not only the entrance to the castle and the crypt to local heroes. You see, we haven't had many deaths here. It's a very peaceful place. Up here is the Founder's Quarters, where the founders of the castle live. 2 stories of these. Upstairs we have a tavern, another dining hall, a temple, a nice little internal tomb, quarters for a noble person. Sadly, not a single baron has been appointed. Our civilization is still too small, so that's a little bit sad. And here, on the roof of that, we have the twin tower tops. So the twin tower tops are more than just decoration. They double serve as prisons, the office of the guard captain, and again prisons, and then the top of that. So these towers stand tall, very tall, and this entire castle has been a blast to be built. Of course, most of the elements here are fluff, and the entire castle serves not too many purposes for real, but it is a wonderful sight to behold, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Especially the center tower lumbering above this entire construction like that. It is really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the fortress tour, and we're steadily heading off to season 3 here, which will be located, I don't know where, but I'm certainly sure it will end up with a nice fortress tour again. So, thanks for being around, thanks for watching this video, drop me your comments down below, leave me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and check out the description box. Like I said, there are links down there leading to Sandwalls, the previous fortress, or there's also the Savage Lands saga, or God knows what will be in there in the future. There's also support links. Check out Patreon, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee. I want to say a big thanks to all the supporters of the channel. I deeply appreciate, and I hope you had a good time. See you all on the next one. Bye bye.